Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to
Instant Finish.
Where this week we have been listening to the next Sixth Doctor box set, The Trials of a Timelord. Yeah, another box set celebrating 40 years of the Sixth Doctor. Now, we had the Quinn Dilemma earlier on in the year.
We loved it. We loved the Quinn Dilemma.
Absolutely, really loved that. Produced by Jacqueline Rayner, of course. We love everything she's done ever.
Can I just put in a small caveat before you say anything else? Because I think you went into this not wanting to like this story.
No, I didn't.
Because Jacqueline Rayner, as we know, has not been involved in this.
No, the only apprehension I had going into this, let me just explain this and then we can put that around.
Explain yourself.
Only because, and Big Finish do this a lot, they never always know when to stop. You know, you have one great box set, oh, we need 4 more. We need to do this again, we need to drag it out more. So I had that in the back of my mind. But then I also had what Jacqueline Rayner said at Big Finish Day. She was asked to do a box set to celebrate 40 years of the Sixth Doctor, and she did that, and we loved the Quinn Dilemma.
Superbly.
Did everything that it needed to do, and a lot of people agreed with us on that. They all loved that one.
And gave us flip back as well.
Yeah. And then she said, oh, and then Big Finish asked me to do another one, and she said, well,
we've already done it.
I've put everything.
You got 3 hours of goodness there. Why do you need 6?
I've put everything celebrating into this box set. So anyway, and then she couldn't do it anyway. So my apprehension was like, well, we've already done this celebration. Why do you need another one? And then the cover came out, didn't it? And it had Cybermen, mentions of andrograms, Davros, blah, blah, blah. And then you think, oh, great, okay. So the Quinn Dilemma, what we loved about that was it touched on the themes of the Sixth Doctor, but it was new stories going forward, which we always loved to do.
And then in itself, it was an entirely original story.
Yeah, and then this looked like, on the face of it, the usual, let's just shove everything in, put everyone on the cover. And yeah, okay, great for a celebration sometimes, you know.
Fair,
yes. We love the 5 Doctors, don't we? But this is every month for Big Finish. So again, it's not special. Again, let's not mention Once a Future. But again, it looked like, that was the only apprehension. 1, they've done it before. And 2, it looks like everything that has been done before as well. So we have a 6-part story here.
Set on the Ludosphere.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a spoiler in itself. I'm so sorry.
So
no,
we'll try
it does say that on the cover. It does say that on the blurb.
We'll try not to do spoilers. So Sixth Doctor and Mel story.
Yes.
We have, it's very like Vengeance on Varos.
Yes. No, it basically is Vengeance.
It's basically Vengeance from Varos, but then there's lots of hints and things of all the other Sixth Doctor stories, season 22 stories.
It's all the mechanics of making a television program, including having people watching it on their TV screens and commenting on it. But, do you know, where Vengeance on Varos was quite subtly done in places, and it was done as a drama, I mean, this is kind of done as a farce for a lot of the time. It's all pitched at sort of 11. So where Arak and Etta were sitting there watching the and you believe that they had this sort of contentious relationship, here you've just got these two sort of sitcom characters going, I don't like it, where's the killings? And they just repeat that over and over again. And my biggest complaint to you about this was, like, dial it down a bit. This is 3 hours. Well, no, 2.5 hours, because we'll get there in a second. The first half an hour is a bit muted. It's 2.5 hours up in the stratosphere, and it never comes down. So you've got to prepare yourself for balls to the walls, pace, noise, energy, monsters, everything coming at you. It is unrelenting, this.
It's essentially a runaround for most of it.
Yeah.
Of Vengeance on Varos again, with everything thrown in as well. Although the beginning of it was quite interesting. So it's a Sixth Doctor and Mel.
We was a bit confused, weren't we?
He gets a distress call from Tiff, a so-called companion or someone that he knows before that we don't know.
Was it supposed to be Flip? Because we've never heard of Tiff.
Anyway, Tiff. But
you know,
it was really weird.
Tiffany from EastEnders.
Right.
That's Martine McClutchan. That's who I kept seeing.
But it was really weird because, you know, the Sixth Doctor and Mel in the TARDIS, a distress call, the usual thing.
Yeah. Mayday, we have to respond.
Yeah, you know that. The acting was so muted.
Yeah. It was they just come back from a funeral.
To a point where you were like, is this the real? Is there something?
Yeah.
Is this the real? Are they like duplicates or something?
I thought that was a TV show, didn't
Yeah.
I knew the actors weren't quite getting it right.
Yeah.
It turns out, no, the actual actors just weren't quite getting it right.
The pace picks up a little bit, but just
really
the first
fast.
half of the episode, if you listen, they're just like
yeah,
really not into it. It's not the Sixth Doctor and Mel. I don't know. The acting's
was
really
recorded
odd.
in order.
Maybe they're just warming up.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they just didn't do the usual Harry Roy sort of warm ups beforehand.
Really weird. So we were trying to work out, like, is this actually real or not? Anyway, there's layers upon layers of different, you know, Vengeance on Varos style tricks going out throughout this.
But may I say also as well, because they've deliberately made this a huge pastiche of every single season 22 story. So you've got elements of every story. I ain't gonna spoil it, but I'll just spoil the ones on the cover, which is you've got the Cyber Leader in this from Attack of the Cybermen, the Androgams from the Two Doctors, and Davros from Revelation of the Daleks. But every other part of the season is touched upon as well. So, like, if you want to jerk off the Colin Baker era, then this is absolutely going to be for you.
But I don't see
you've got to be prepared for the energy of it. Like, we
Yeah, but
really did have to
also-
stagger this a bit, didn't we?
But also, like, I was thinking, what we getting new out of this?
Not very little.
It's the same elements doing another different run around. I couldn't find any new parts of story to enjoy, really. And also, okay, so we have older Perry as well comes back. Warrior Queen
She's
Perry
on the front in a fabulous
as
costume
well.
from
So,
the,
okay.
from the Blu-ray. trailer,
Yeah.
Perry. Yeah.
But okay, this is only a few people will be bothered about this. And I suppose if you're making the box set, you don't have to care about this at all. But we've already had a couple of trilogies of an older Perry coming back after the Widow's
Only
Assassin.
you're bothered by this,
No,
not
well,
me.
no, because
I'm
they've
not.
done the Widow's Assassin, they've done a trilogy, they've done the older Sixth Doctor, they've
They're
done that.
contradicting their own continuity.
And this Sixth Doctor and Perry, this is as if the Sixth Doctor has not met Perry since Mind Warp. And there's a bit of a moment there. But then also, you've had the moment with the Sixth Doctor and Perry in the Queen Dilemma. They've already done that kind of stuff. And to deliberately
They skip over that quite
push
fast.
aside
This.
and contradict Big Finish's own stories, I thought that was a little bit odd to do that. And I know it doesn't need to, like, no one needs to care about that. And this older Perry here functions for the story. It could have been, there could have been a couple of lines there just to sort out, not to contradict your own box sets that you only released a few years ago.
Can I make
That
a
is just a
suggestion
bit annoying
that they
to
might
me.
have done something quite clever?
What?
Though, because the Two Doctors slavishly ignored the Second Doctor's continuity by having him know about the Time Lords and all that in Two Doctors, and everyone's getting in a palaver going, well, you've forgotten all about the War Games, that's when he regenerated. He don't know about the Time Lords before that, no one does. So I figured maybe Trials of a Time Lord was, what's it called? Trials of a Time Lord was doing the same thing, ignoring the Perry history. It's a meta joke.
But then I don't know, even the
it's not.
actors, surely Nicola Bryant's on her Perry stuff.
Do you
Surely
really
she'd
care
be-
about that stuff?
Well, no, only because Widow's Assassin and all that was a really great story. And now it's just like...
to continuity strangles creativity, I find. Although there wasn't much creativity in
it
it
didn't
anyway.
matter. It could have just been the older Perry. It just one line would have sorted it out and made it relevant. I don't know. It just sort of annoyed me because they didn't even make... the sacrifice of not having the continuity didn't really make, if he's not seen Perry since Mind Warp, it was a little brief conversation. Then they get on with it.
Yeah.
Plus, not like
Leo
in the
and Perry
Queen,
seem to know each other as well.
Not when
but
you
they met in
compare
the Queen
it.
Dilemma.
When you compare it in the Queen Dilemma, where there was that address of, I mean, it's before Mind Warp, isn't it? But they have that time, the story slows down, they have that really great
Yeah, it was
moment
wonderful.
together.
That was the
If you're
purpose of
gonna
that
bring
episode.
back, if you're gonna have a Perry that hasn't seen the Sixth Doctor since Mind Warp, have that moment within all this chaos at least. Have a bit of a dramatic moment rather than reveal. We know the reveals because they're all on the front cover anyway.
Well, he tries. He says to her,
I don't
"Oh,
know.
Perry,
There's
may
not-
I say to you?" And she goes, "Oh, there's too much going on, Doctor."
Yeah,
Although, may I
I
say
don't
as well,
know.
remember I said everyone's pitched at 11.
Mm.
Nicola Bryant, will you calm down? She's saying every line like I am a warrior queen. It was way over the top. Even like Perry's normally a bit over the top. It's American, and they generally are effusive in their delivery. But this was on another level. Does it really bother you, that continuity stuff?
Well, no, it's just a bit annoying. It's just to ignore your own stuff that you've released. Okay, yeah, the TV and the audio.
They brought out 500 releases since then. They don't remember.
I just think it's silly.
Honestly, what do you think they got? A big chart of continuity that they keep referring
Someone
to?
should know what they've written.
Well, he's there for the job. If you need a continuity advisor, Mark Rawlins is available.
It's just, anyway.
But I'd like to talk about some positives, please, because I think for me it was a very unusual thing. One of the please stop doing these 3-hour stories, for God's sakes. But for once, the first half of it, I was a little bit unimpressed. Of like, okay, so we're going to keep doing the reveal of, and I'm going to reveal one to us because it's quite an early one. Of it's not everything is what it seems. It's all a TV show, and we do this sort of 2 or 3 times. When I was going, this whole 6 episodes can't be every cliffhanger. Oh, and here's another guest star, Davros, and here's another twist. Oh no, we haven't escaped. Actually, it's all a TV show. But then somewhere in the second half, I thought both the tone of it and the writing stabilized quite a lot. And whilst it was a lot of noise and a lot of monsters fighting each other and a lot of that sort of meta in-jokes, there were some great moments. There was one moment where, and it ain't a spoiler because they're both on the cover, the cyber leader and Davros consider joining forces against the people of the Ludosphere. And they go, oh, intriguing. And Davros is like, an intriguing suggestion. And then it just pauses. And then all the armies open fire at once. And so I do think this director, who is a new director, what's his name? Jonathan Powell, I do think maybe he is easing his way in the first half of this. But I thought by the second half, actually, he was delivering great scenes. It was just too long.
But what
it was 2 episodes too long.
What they've managed to achieve is the tastelessness of season 22 within this box set.
Much. Well, you got those.
If you love season 22, I can see how this is a celebration of that,
mashup.
And a mashup of that.
In fact,
but it's all the bits of season 22 that I don't necessarily like, so maybe that's why I haven't liked this as much as some of the others.
That's why you like Twin Dilemma, because that was celebrating Flip, Constance, all the audio stuff that you love.
Yeah, I suppose this is the other half of it, but also just have one box set. I think also the business comes. I think we need some Colin Baker box sets. Let's celebrate. We've signed off on 2 box sets. All your great ideas have gone into one. Shit, we now need to find another box set to sell to everyone. We've got to crank out 6 more episodes. I've said this a million times. And let's just do another celebration. Just do one celebration.
It's like you said earlier in the episode. It's never enough for you, Big Finish, is it? Please, just have enough of this sort of thing,
Whenever you think you need 2 box sets,
do one.
Do one, edit it down.
Whenever you think it should be 6 episodes, do 3.
Yeah, I think this was stretched out.
Wait.
This would be a great 4.
Whenever you think you need 4 elements from various ranges, use 2.
Yeah.
Just half everything.
Half everything. I think if this was a single 4-parter release of the main range, it would, I don't know, it'd just be a bit more concise and a bit more enjoyable. It did stretch out. I was just like, another reveal, another half an hour now of running around. There were some lovely moments in there, but not enough lovely moments for 6 episodes, I think.
Far too low. There are more pluses though. I loved having the Androgams back, and I think there's potential there to explore them more.
Yeah, they should have done that.
And it isn't done
before,
here.
Yeah.
Like they're all sort of clapping themselves on the back in the special features going, the idea of an Androgam cookery show on a TV channel.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Isn't that hilarious? And I was like, well, yeah, but the joke wears thin quite quickly. Actually, let's do something with the culture, because it's quite interesting in the 2 Doctors. I thought Mel was shunted a bit to the side. She stuck with the rebels for a lot of this.
No, so 6 Doctor and Mel together.
Doctor and Perry throughout most of this story, which is really bad. I thought Terry Malloy sounded a bit odd in this as well.
He sounds very old now, that's all. He's very old.
But they can
the
modulate
strength
the voice.
Wasn't there.
Can't they modulate it younger?
Yeah.
Anyway, but there were some wonderful scenes between Colin Baker and Terry Malloy in this.
Always is.
There's one bit where the Doctor and Perry have to jump on Davros's chair, and he's like, "Unhand me," which was very, very funny.
So just sum it up, really. I preferred the Queen Dilemma.
So did I.
But if you love the TV series of season 22, you might get something out of this. I just think it's a celebration step too far.
Trouble is, maybe they're on a hide into
all.
nothing, because I don't think anyone does like season 22 of Doctor Who, except me, and even I thought this was a bit too much.
Yeah. It's okay. It's by no means terrible. Give it a try. If you love the Sixth Doctor, I'm sure you will love this.
Can I make quite a damning indictment of this?
Yeah, hurry up. We're running out of battery.
Because I did quite like this, and that is, I prefer Trial of a Time Lord to this.
Yeah,
I'm a massive fan of Trial of a Time Lord.
I thought we were going to go do some other Trial of... Maybe if they'd concentrated on that season and had some elements there.
Excuse me, I thought the battery was running out.
Yeah,
Let me finish.
Quick.
Because Mysterious Planet is full of originality and wonderful witty lines. Mind Warp is full of fabulous dark twists and turns. Terror of Vervoids is blissfully entertaining to watch. And The Ultimate Foe wraps it all up with loads of twists and pulls it all together. Maybe not as successfully as it could have done. Whereas this is sort of the same thing. From episode 2 to episode 6, this is sort of the same thing throughout.
Yeah.
And you're either on board with that or you're not. But there isn't a diversity. So, Trial of a Time Lord 1, Trials of a Time Lord 0. But it was entertaining.
Oh, it's entertaining, but it's not one I would want to go back. I was like,
And I think there's potential with this director. I just bring it down a notch. And yeah, maybe in 2 or 3 releases' time, absolutely. I think everyone takes a little while to bid in. But yeah. So it's a little bit of a muted response to this, if I'm honest. I don't know if I'd rush back to it in a hurry, whereas Quin Dilemma I'd listen to again.
I just don't think we need any more celebrations.
No.
I think we're celebrated out. We don't need to celebrate every single thing that has happened in Doctor Who.
But, that's the end of 60s 40th, and we know we're going into a couple of years' worth of Jack Rayner box sets. So
hopefully.
Happy day.
There we go. Well, in the meantime, everybody,
don't forget
to
finish
big.
big.